If you haven't been to this channel before, my name is Jacob, and I am a mechanical engineer with a passion for personal training, bodybuilding, and working out. So the subject of today's video, it's a little late, but we're gonna be talking about how to preserve and maintain your gains during the gains apocalypse in the current, COVID-19 pandemic, which has affected everyone, So this isn't gonna be a flashy, shirtless workout video. I know, disappointing, right?
Whatever it is that you're offering, we're not into it. Don't care, couldn't care less.
But we are gonna have some education. Tip number one concerns the topic, will you lose mass in this current pandemic? How quickly will you lose your gains? And I just want to throw this out there. Tension is better than no tension. I'm in no way assuming that everyone's going to be, dialing around and not working out. Everyone should be attempting at-home workouts. If you have a gym at your own house, you should definitely be attempting workouts at your own personal gym. But just assuming that you didn't do anything. Technical term called the detraining. How long would you have to wait until you started to see your hard-earned, gains or strength go away? And okay, I'm a science guy. I like to look at the facts, like to look at the research. So all the research points to the fact that you can keep your gains in strength for approximately 3 weeks. After that period of time, your strength and your size start to decrease a little bit. A study I looked at concerned elite rugby players. So these guys have they have a good idea of what their nutrition should be. They're elite rugby and American football players, right? Anecdotally, I have not worked out for a period of approximately a month and a half. And I really meticulously tracked my macros. And I noticed that I kept my gains, my strength and my size after about a month and a half. I didn't notice a huge decrease. The caveat to that is that one time I got a little sick. I basically, stayed in bed and didn't do anything for like 12 days. And when that's another story in of itself. But when I went back to the gym, I noticed I lost about, like 50 pounds on my squat, maybe like 20, 30 pounds on my back. It was miserable. I could barely do 10 pull-ups, so if you want to keep your gains for, 3 weeks, a month, assuming you do nothing at all, you really have to keep your diet in point, which brings me to tip number 2. How should you adjust your diet to accommodate detraining or a period of not working out really intensely? I feel like the answer to this question is pretty obvious, but I'm just gonna address it anyway. So if we're trying to maintain our muscle mass and we're trying to prevent an excess accumulation of fat, we're gonna bump our protein up and try to eliminate processed carbs and hydrogenated fats. So right now I'm currently following a keto/paleo diet, which means eating a lot of healthy proteins and fats, a lot of green stuff, and I'm keeping my carbs, not super high. And I might have a few keto purists, yell at me about it not truly being keto if my carbs are above 20 grams or whatever the threshold is for being a keto purist. But keto is mostly for losing weight. Overweight people, it's really greatly benefits them, but your body, you really do need carbs. So that's all I'm gonna say there. So I'd be eating around 1 gram per pound of body weight. Of course, there are gonna be error bars associated with that value of 1 gram per pound of body weight. If you're significantly overweight, you definitely want to be eating a little bit less because you don't have that much lean mass on your body. If you're super skinny, maybe like 1.2, 1.3, but you don't need a ton of protein in order to grow and maintain. But it's good to be on the safe side. Hence, right now I'm eating, around 1 gram per pound of body weight. Also, another thing, no matter how much protein you eat, you will not get fat. The research is very clear on this. You might get bad farts though. So my third tip is concerning mentality. So obviously, we don't want to give up and look like this guy.
No, I'm pretty sure he's dead.
So it's really easy to fall into, you know, depression, have depression about this whole situation, especially with me, you know, like not being able to go to the gym, whatnot. A little bit of anxiety is super, super normal. But one thing that's really helped me, and I believe might help you, is every single morning, you know, I've been trying to get better at this, but practicing a little bit of gratitude. A lot of people, you'd be surprised, a ton of people just don't have the privilege of pushing their bodies like, you know, like I do, like a lot of other people do. You know, there's so many people out there with hidden illnesses, various handicaps that prevent them from, you know, pushing themselves. And when you think of it that way, you know, the situation doesn't even seem that bad. You know, not being able to go to the gym and whatnot, not being able to, maybe you have a hard time finding a job or whatnot, you know, and I feel like life has its ups and its downs, and currently we're in a little down period. So yeah, I try to avoid, you know, binge eating tubs of ice cream and crying in bed all day. Like, you know, not like I've ever done that before. So yeah, try to avoid sitting in bed all day and binge eating ice cream, you know, drinking beer. You try to be a little bit productive. There are definitely a few YouTube channels that are more focused on dopamine, detoxing and whatnot, which are super, super important. I think really important when you're forced to stay in your home all the time. You don't want to, you know, lose your edge, so to speak. So yeah, point number one, how fast will you lose your muscle? You know, 3 weeks. Point number two, adjusting your diet. Very, very simple, sometimes hard to implement. Like everything I'm saying is super simple, but it's really hard to it's sometimes hard to do it, you know? So point number two is you want to keep your protein pretty high. Stay away from a lot of these, you know, really super processed, salty, yummy foods. It's gonna be tough. And hydrogenated fats. So those two, you know, processed foods, excessively processed carbs, I should say, and hydrogenated fats. And third tip, I mean, if you can, try to practice some gratitude, you know. Anyway, guys, you know, thanks for watching the video. If this video in any way, you know, it did help you, you know, please leave a like, comment, or subscribe and let me know. You know, I'd really appreciate the feedback.